What's going on YouTube? Trevor Financial here with another video. This week we're going to go off of last week's video of the top 5 stocks to invest in 2019. This week's video is going to be the top 5 worst to invest in 2019. And again, this is going to be just my personal preference. This is just something that I feel like would be the worst to invest in this year so far, based off of the numbers that I've done and the research that I've endured and everything that goes on with it and the numbers they provided so far. You know, I understand that it's unpredictable and everything, but based off of their previous performance, these are the ones that I say would be the worst. Topping out at number 5 would be Snapchat. Now, Snapchat is a social media platform that everybody uses, but they're not as big as they used to be. So millennials these days, they think that they're going to invest into these social media platforms, which I know last week I did say, okay, invest in Facebook. But Facebook has been around for many years, and they own many different platforms. These newer ones like Snapchat, when it first came out, it hit a peak that was unrivaled with the social media platforms, you know, other than the powerhouse Facebook. Now, Snapchat has so many other competitors that are out right now that have arose since they've came out, that it's making it harder for them to be able to keep up with the masses, and all of the updates that they're throwing out and all of the new agreements and all these other things that are making users fall off are also hurting their income, because they, you know, investing into this and not having the people behind it to support it, the users in the community, will make it a bad investment, because at that point you're just kind of putting your money into a prayer and hoping that it comes back up. With Snapchat, you have Instagram, you have Facebook, you have all these other apps that are coming out, and it's making it harder for Snapchat to stay afloat, because it's just not as good as it used to be, especially with Instagram now allowing you to add stories to your page and allowing you to do temporary things just like Snapchat. They basically took what Snapchat had and made it better, and now people are starting to do that more than they're using Snapchat. So Snapchat's starting to go down really bad, and it's just not a good investment for me personally that I would make in 2019. Now, number 4 on the list is GoPro. Now, yes, I do film with GoPro. I do have a GoPro. I still use a GoPro, but I don't use the newer GoPros. See, GoPro doesn't have the sales to support their company anymore. And GoPro had a good thing going when they had the drones, when they had the GoPro 3s and all the heroes that they've had and all the other things that they were trying to do. That was perfect when they were trying to do it. But now that the demand of outdoor cameras and outdoor activities and all this other stuff has declined dramatically, it makes it so much harder for GoPro to make these sales. Because if GoPro can't sell the cameras, they can't sell the things that help aid them sell the cameras. So if you can't sell the tripod, how would you sell the camera and the tripod if you can't sell either one? I wouldn't buy a tripod for a camera I don't own, and I wouldn't buy a camera that I don't want, and their price range doesn't justify their demand. So what they're doing is they're trying to overbalance by taking out of their market account, and it's actually hurting the company in the long run, because no one's actually buying it anymore. No one's actually investing into GoPro anymore. Their share price went from I think 40. I might be wrong. I'll cross-reference it, but it went to like 40 to like 4. I personally invested in one share just to kind of put this theory to test, to see if GoPro is actually worth it. Yes, I've had some positive returns in the past couple of days, past couple of weeks, but honestly, it's not enough to where I would be comfortable enough to invest more than just 1 or 2 shares. It's not something that I would just go out and say, you need to go do GoPro. That's one of those penny ones that you just don't want to mess with. It's too risky. And you investing your 100 shares in it, or your 10 shares, or however many shares, isn't going to help it get over that hump that it's going over. Because right now, GoPro has no light at the end of the tunnel, in my opinion. I just don't see it happening near anything at all right now. Number 3, number 3 is Netflix. I went over that a little bit in my previous video about how Disney is withdrawing from them, and how it's going to make it a little bit harder for Netflix to keep that revenue going, because Disney is a powerhouse when it comes down to movies and shows and everything like that. Disney takes no prisoners, So with Disney and them taking away from it, and Hulu expanding, and all of these other streaming services like Disney Plus is coming out sometime this year, it's going to make it harder for Netflix to continue on going where they're going, especially with the way that they just decide, okay, well, these shows aren't going to be on Netflix anymore, and these shows aren't going to be on Netflix anymore. That kind of stuff hurts revenue because users don't want to just lose shows and not be able to do it. That's why they invest in things like this. That's why they get Netflix accounts, because they say, okay, I can watch a whole season of this without any problems, any issues, and be good and move on from it. And now Netflix is basically saying, hey, I'm going to take your shows that you like and I'm going to remove them at will, and then just say, all right, well, see you next time. I appreciate your money. And that makes people not want to do it. So with these other streaming services that are coming out right now, with these other streaming services that are in competition with Netflix right now, it proves that Netflix is not as good as they used to be. Like to own a share for them, they are really overpriced in my opinion right now. Netflix is crazily overpriced right now. I wouldn't spend my money to invest in Netflix for one or any shares, because to me, it just seems like a waste of money. You're putting it on, you're putting a lot of hope into a dying cause, you know, like Netflix might be better, might come back in a couple of years, but I wouldn't invest in them currently because of the trend that they've been showing in the past couple of years. It's not looking good for Netflix personally, you know. I don't see a good yield, you know. Coming from me, you know, as a younger investor, I would say stay away from all social media platforms, you know, stay away from social media platforms, stay away from mainstream platforms, you know. I don't personally see any gain coming from any of those anytime soon because of the rise of social media, of the increase of traffic in social media, but it's not like it's a constant source. There's 80% going to Facebook, 5% going to Instagram, 2% going to Snapchat, and the other 3%, you know, just kind of floating around, 4% floating around. You know, it's like I wouldn't invest in any other social media except for Facebook in its current time because of the fact that there's so much going on that it's hard for you to be able to individualize which one is doing the best and which one you need to stick with, because it's so just sporadic in all of these aspects that it just makes it so much harder for you to be able to be comfortable enough to invest in it and maintain the investment. So, you know, that's my little rant, because a lot of people think that investing in social media is the next get rich quick scheme, but it's not, you know, it's not. So number 4 or number 3 on my list, it might be 4, it might be 3, I'm a little confused right now, is Starbucks. Now, Starbucks for a lot of people was good. Starbucks for a lot of people was the place to go, the place to be. You know, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. But what they don't realize is that Starbucks actually had a huge decline in sales and marketing and everything. And they had really poor management going on for a little short period of time, which really also impacted them really negatively. You know, a lot of people think that because it's Starbucks and because it's the name that it's going to do good, and it's got all this potential growth and it's got all this excellent equity. Like, no, it doesn't. It has horrible growth right now. Like, the numbers for the previous 3 to 5 years have been exponentially poor. I would not be comfortable enough to invest in them right now. And overall, I mean, even for their price, I feel like they're overpriced right now for a share because of the amount of performance that they showed us. You know, I don't feel like I would comfortably be able to invest in them because of their numbers. And, you know, everybody else might have a different opinion on that, or somebody else might say, well, you can't look at it from the past 3 years because they've been open for 20, or, you know, however you want to look at it. You also have to remember that if a trend has been bad for 5 years, it's not just going to fix itself in a year. You know, it's still going to take 5 years to fix, or 3 years to fix. It's not going to be something you just want to invest in now and hope that in 3 years it's better. You know, if you just have faith in that company, or if you're just really high into that brand or something like that, then yeah, go for it. But personally, again, I would not invest in them, not with their current trend. You know, I just can't do it, you know. And coming in at the end, I mean, the absolute end, you know, and it's one that I fell for when I started out, because, you know, you're supposed to invest in stocks that you know about, that you know a lot about, and that you're passionate about. And me, I'm an automotive guy. I love cars. I absolutely love them to death. You know, I work on them. I build them, all kinds of things, car shows, you name it. I love everything about it. So to me, I felt like, all right, well, if I go to a car stock, I would be well off, because I mean, everybody needs cars. It's something that'll always be around. And I was like, all right, well, let me just try this out. So I went and bought Ford. I bought 10, 15 shares of Ford. It was the worst thing I could have done. See, I would not invest in Ford. Ford is doing the worst I've seen Ford do in a long time. And I thought, okay, well, if I invest in Ford now, Ford's got all these new cars coming out, but no one's buying them. No one's buying these new cars. With the electric car era going on, you have to remember that these types of things are what makes it hard for automakers to be able to keep up, because Tesla's out here dominating, you know, like Tesla's dominating, Lexus is dominating with the electric car industry. You know, it's like Ford is a little behind. So in order to invest in Ford, you have to have a lot of faith in them. And if you don't have a lot of faith in them, or if you're trying to boost yourself up with them, that's not the stock to go to, because their price right now is set there for a reason. You know, I think it's like $4 a stock now, or $4 a share. I'm sorry, and you know, or it might have been like $6 last time I checked. But I, you know, don't quote me on that, but I would not waste my time to invest in Ford for no reason. You know, that's literally why you would do it, for absolutely no reason. If you feel like you just have money to throw away and to just give away and just do, then fine, invest in all of the things on this list, invest in all of them. But I don't really know many people who would disagree with the stocks that I've named on this list. Like, there are other notable mentions, like AMD. It started off great, you know, it has good potential, but right now it's going through a rough spot. I personally wouldn't invest in them right now. You know, Fitbit, awful. Who would invest in that right now? Like, no one. Like, I don't even like. You know, watches. Everybody does Apple Watch. Everybody likes Apple Watch. Nobody uses Fitbit anymore. Nobody uses things like that anymore. You know, Apple Watch has taken over. I mean, Apple products are just amazing, just simply amazing. You know, it's like, and I'm not just saying that because I'm an Apple fanboy, but because it's true. You know, Apple's market is incredible right now. And it's like, who would invest in something like that, you know? So those are those high risk, low return investments that you make that aren't necessary, because at the end of the day, you'll wind up short and losing money, and you'll try and figure out, okay, how can I make this better? Get rid of those stocks, you know? Get rid of those shares and sell them, trade them, get rid of them. Don't keep investing in a dying light until it starts to come back, you know? Like, if you feel like you're an expert at buying low, selling high, do it. If you want to do day trades, do it. If you want to just try and maximize as much as you can, as quick as you can, do it. Because they're really cheap right now. But if you want to just go in and just invest in them and squat on them, do it. I mean, that's what I'm doing with a few of my investments. A few, like I think 20 of my total shares are just squatting. I'm just sitting on them just because. Microsoft, I'm just sitting on. Facebook, I'm just sitting on. You know, it's just ones that I'm just sitting on just because I know that they have potential in the long run and that it'll always come back in a positive way. So that's my little spiel on my 5 worst stocks to invest in 2019 so far. You know, if you feel like I missed a few, if you feel like I misnamed a few, you know, just go for it. Let me know in the comments. Let me know how you feel about it. Let me know what you feel like should or shouldn't be on this list, because in my opinion, the list is very fruitful on stocks that a lot of people invest in that they don't understand are bad stocks, especially people when they first get into the market. Because when I first got into the market, I saw low numbers with big names, and that was my mistake. Buying GoPro, my mistake, because it was a big name. Buying Snapchat, big name, my mistake. Buying Ford, my mistake. You know, these are things that I made mistakes of doing when I first got into the market, and these are mistakes that I don't want you guys to follow and do the same thing. You know, maybe in 2 or 3 years, when this video is 3 years old and they've had time to fix themselves, you know, this might be irrelevant. But as of right now, as of today, I feel like these are 5 stocks that aren't worth investing in now. So if you have any, objections about it or anything, just let me know, you know. So if you like what you see, leave a subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think. Hit the little bell, get notified every time I upload, and that's it. Be easy.